Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk a bit more about that new black and white set, white, flare, and black bolt. I told you there was going to be more news coming, and oh my word, ladies and gentlemen, there is more news coming. There is very, very big news, and we might as well start off with what is probably the biggest news here. Maybe the biggest news? There might be other big news. I don't really know. Look how big this news is. It is Reshiram and Zekrom. We have got new fancy versions of Reshiram and Zekrom, and they are absolutely ridiculous, flat out phenomenal. Look at these ridiculous cards. Now, in terms of what they do, they are just reprints of the ones we saw yesterday. So they've both got 230 HP, they've both got a retreat cost of 2, they've both got a 2 energy attack that does 50 damage, and they've both got a 2 coloured, 1 colourless energy attack that does 130 damage, plus 50 more for each prize card your opponent has taken. Reshiram then has to discard an energy from itself, and Reshiram takes 30 self-damage. It's fine. These are decent little attacks. The thing is, they have friends. I showed you the Ember yesterday, which is helping out very nicely with the Reshiram. Just lets you attach as much energy, fire energy, during your turn as you like. And we talked about the fact that actually when it comes to Zekrom, you've got that absolutely absurd combo coming down with Magneton, whereby you can KO itself, accelerate a bunch of energy to get rolling, and then of course you've given up a prize, which means you do 50 extra damage. I'm kind of excited about the combination of Zekrom and Magneton. That is something I've absolutely got my eye on. Okay, cool. But it's the design of these cards that really makes me sit up and go, hang on a second, that's a little bit ridiculous. Because make no mistake about it, that is a little bit ridiculous. But let's not pretend we've never seen these before. We have absolutely seen these before. These are basically updated versions of the Reshiram and Zekrom, which were the real chase cards from the original black and white base set. And this is what I love so much. This set really seems like a love letter to the black and white era of the Pokémon TCG. I showed you yesterday how the Ember is a reprint of the Ember, but I also showed you how the new Ember has the same foiling pattern as the Japanese cards had back in the black and white era. We're seeing some of these black and white era cards having straight reprints, which is kind of awesome. And we're also seeing, nods to how the cards were back then, with the foil pattern being essentially replicated at least over in Japan. Now with these Reshiram and Zekrom that are very much essentially reprints of the fancy Reshiram and Zekrom from back in the day, you add that all up and you've got a set which is just an absolute love letter to old school black and white. And if you were around when old school black and white was here, if you were playing back then, you are going to appreciate what they're doing here absolutely fantastically. Also, there is another card even cooler than these two. We'll get there in a moment. But we probably should have a little bit of a look while we're here at the Eelektrik line. You see, one of the most iconic cards, and I mean this very, very literally, one of the single most iconic cards in the entirety of the black and white era was Eelektrik. Eel's decks were absolutely everywhere. If you were playing back then, and I was playing an obscene amount during the black and white era, if you were playing back then, you would have noticed that these Eel decks were just, they were dominant for large periods. They were absolutely everywhere, and it was all based around the Eelektrik, which accelerated energy from your discard pile to your bench lightning Pokemon. And at this stage, you can probably see where I'm going with this story. It's back. And I mean properly back. I mean full-on reprint back. And when I say back, I need you guys to understand that this is, this isn't like, oh, it's got the same ability. I mean same ability, same attack, same HP, same weakness, same retreat cost, same flavor text. That little bit of extra text that tells you a bit more about the Pokemon to get you hyped about it. This is And I mean this very literally, an exact reprint. It is exactly the same card in every way. And this is going to lead to a pretty obvious question from some of you, so let me answer it now. Yeah, this should be legal. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be legal. We know now that straight reprints are legal, and sure, this Eelektrik is a very old card, but it is in every way the exact same card. I'm sure as we get closer, somebody will give us a definitive ruling on it, but make no mistake about it, this is just a straight reprint. Why wouldn't it be legal? Now, there is a lot to get excited about this card. Firstly, with the Zekrom I've just mentioned, the fact that you can accelerate the energy to that is absolutely phenomenal. But we've also been seeing lightning decks be good for a little while now. Things like Iron Hands, for instance. Yeah, you can use this to just keep pumping out Iron Hands and get that rolling nice and quickly. There are a bunch of good lightning Pokemon we've been playing with. This is absolutely going to help out massively. And sure, we've still got Eelektrik Generator, which will go and get that stuff. Obviously, we've still got Eelektrik Generator. That will accelerate some energy. But now we've got another option. We've got another trick in our bag, so to speak. I love this. I think this is fantastic and brilliant and wonderful. People are going to be very happy this is back. And yeah, we're in a different format than we were back then. Things are different. It's not like we're playing in exactly the same way, and there's absolutely every possibility that it's not as good as it was. I can tell you that this card was basically busted last time we had it. I can tell you we got a good lightning sweeter Pokemon out right now, including the new Zekrom. Everything about this should be very, very exciting. But there is one thing I haven't told you about yet, which is even more exciting, and that is this Victini. I love this Victini. Now, this is actually a reprint of the Victini that I showed you yesterday, which is pretty much a reprint of an old Victini again. I showed you the regular art yesterday, I showed you the illustration rare yesterday, and I didn't actually make it clear enough, so let me make it nice and clear now. The Victini in the file set, the illustration rare in the file set, seems to just be a straight reprint of the Victini illustration rare from the set. It seems to be in both the set and the file set, just with a different number, so that's kind of interesting. They're making the file set a bit less exciting, which I actually really like, because I want the file set. I collect these Japanese products, and if the file set had an exclusive illustration rare, it would be ridiculously popular and would get a bit silly. By giving it an illustration rare which is available in the set, just with a different numbering, the different numbering still makes it a promo, still makes it a bit unique, still makes people want it, but it means that we can, on the other hand, a lot of people are just not going to care as much. And that's lovely. So what about this red Victini then? Well, it's being given out in a few different places. There is actually going to be a campaign happening where 2,000 people are going to receive it via a lottery system. It's going to open up on the 14th of June, end on August the 31st, and essentially there's just going to be a lottery system where 2,000 of these Victini are being given out, which is wonderful. But they're also doing an event, a deck building event. That's one of the ones where you get yourself a bunch of packs of the set and you basically build and then you go and play. And it's like a sealed event, like a pre-release. But they're being given out there, although they are being given out as rock, paper, scissors awards at these events, so I'm not sure they're necessarily strict prize cards, which is actually kind of a win, because again, making really ridiculously expensive prize cards for these events, not always the best plan. But I mean, I don't know if this card's going to be given out in English. I know a lot of people are going to want to know that. I assume probably, because nowadays we do tend to get all the cards in Japan, but some of these sealed battle events over in Japan have not found their prize cards making their way out in English. That is an important little note. But as well as being given out by a lottery system online, and as well as being given out by, you know, these rock, paper, scissors at these events, there's also a bunch of promos. Now, the promos are a bit less exciting. They're stamped, which is cool. We've got Energy Card, and then we've got things like, you know, Potion, Crushing Hammer, Energy Search, Ultra Ball, Switch, Pokemon Capture, and then, you know, Boss's Orders gets this. But you might notice hidden away down there, we've got a new full art version of Cherin. Now, Cherin is not a very good card, it's just a draw free, and we're seeing a bunch of reprints in the black and white era. So, yeah, this Cherin is, again, just a draw free. I'm assuming it's a draw free. It's very small, but it looks like it's still a draw free. It's not a very exciting card. And, yeah, we did have a full art of Cherin last time. Came around in Boundaries Crossed. But that doesn't mean, and to be fair, this new Cherin is cooler. I'm convinced the new artwork on this new Cherin is way better. But the point is, there is a fancy version that can be got in these packs. Now, I do need to remind you that these Japanese packs in the past have been searchable. I don't know if they still will be this time. I don't have that information. Nobody's had the chance to get their hands on them yet. Obviously, if they are searchable, it's going to make getting hold of a Cherin a lot more difficult. But, yeah, we've got ourselves this Victini being given away. And there's this Cherin, and then we've got the Reshiram and Zekrom, which are going to be found in packs, and oh my word, things are getting very, very, very spicy. In my videos yesterday, I told you how excited I was for this set, and essentially everything that I'm seeing in today that's being revealed this morning is just making me more and more and more excited for the set. It's going to be awesome. But I've told you about all of it now, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.